Good evening. The ELBC News Bulletin is read by Varflay Kamara. In the headlines, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has been appointed to the EU Council of the Wise at the Continental Body's 29th Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. 2 persons have reportedly died from suffocation in the hatch of a Philippine ship at Buchanan Port in Grand Bassa County. 15 persons have been recruited by the Youth and Sports Ministry as county coordinators for the Youth Opportunity Project. And away from Liberia, researchers say gardening could be a powerful weapon against malaria, getting rid of mosquito population by cutting off their food supply. Those were the headlines, now than those in detail. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has returned home from a new portfolio as a member of the African Union Committee of the WAS. The president was appointed to the post along with other prominent personalities at the just-ended 29th Ordinary Session in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The committee, to be charged with the special assignments and advisory responsibilities, is made of former head of state. The president said she was delighted, particularly over the standing ovation by her counterpart as she delivered her final address in her capacity as head of state. In her address, the president expressed gratitude to the union for the tremendous progress achieved over the 3 years, especially the period of her tenure in Liberia. She announced the end of her tenure and the pending political transition in January 2018. The AU 29th Ordinary Session marked the president's final attendance in her capacity as president of Liberia. 2 persons have been reported dead in the hatch of a Philippine ship at the port city of Buchanan in Grand Bassa County. The 2 deceased persons, including Emmanuel Smith alias Michael and Josh Freeman. According to the report, Emmanuel Smith was a player of the 3rd Division team called Fair Play Football Club, based in Buchanan City. The report said both men died from suffocation caused by chemical that was sprayed in the hatch of the Philippine ship following its landing at the port early Tuesday morning. The ship, named Vecas Granat, usually carries logs from the Buchanan port to other parts of the world for business purpose. The 2 men met their ordeal when they had gone to monitor the hatch, where logs were usually placed for transport abroad. The dead bodies of the 2 men are currently in the mini mortuary of the Liberian Government Hospital in Buchanan. Buchanan Port Manager Patrick Kone said investigation is ongoing to establish who authorized the opening of the hatch. Prior to their demise, they usually worked at the Buchanan port as daily hires on the agent company only identified as GMT. 2 Yamaha brand motorbikes valued at $8,000 have been presented to 2 health centers in Bunk and Nimba counties. The motorbikes were presented to the Ganta United Methodist Hospital in Ganta and the African Fundamental Baptist Mission Clinic in Banga. The donation is from the Christian Health Association of Liberia and the German Institute of Medical Mission under the Regional Confidence Project. Speaking Wednesday, Morovia Charles Executive Director Varflay Kamara urged the participants to use the motorbikes wisely for the enhancement of their work. Also speaking, the project coordinator, UT Pakpala, described the donation as the mission's way of helping in building a resilient health sector in Liberia. Meanwhile, Ganta United Methodist Hospital Administrator Patrick Manta and African Fundamental Baptist Mission Clinic ORC Harris Scotty said the motorbikes will buttress them to provide the needed healthcare services to residents of the 2 counties. The Ministry of Health is strongly warning against the use of personal protective equipment (PPEs) by non-health workers. The Health Ministry Communications Director Saba Josh said The PPEs were brought into the country to be used by health workers during the Ebola crisis. Speaking in an ELBC interview Wednesday, Mr. George cordoned the Liberian National Police to arrest and interrogate anyone wearing PPEs. He observed that people are mistaking the PPEs for raincoats and asked those involved to desist with immediacy. The Health Ministry Communication Director said an immediate internal investigation on how the PPEs got out of the ministry is now ongoing. According to him, they stand in administrative action against anyone found responsible. The Labor Ministry says it welcomes the U.S. State Department's 2017 TRP report with a commitment to continue combating human trafficking in Liberia. U.S. Secretary of State released the 17th Annual Trafficking in Persons TRP report on June 27 this year, ranking Liberia the raw to watch list. A Labor Ministry release says the report shows that Liberia did not fully meet the minimum standards for the elimination of human trafficking for the period of 2016 to 2017. The release, however, said the 2017 TRP report acknowledges significant efforts by the Liberian government in meeting the standards. The ministry, on behalf of the National Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force, said it has instituted several measures to accomplish recommendations by the report. According to the release, the ministry said it has drafted the National Referral Pathway for the protection of victims of human trafficking. The document includes the conduct of training workshops for staffers to manage the national hotline on human trafficking, among others. The Youth Opportunity Project at the Youth and Sports Ministry has begun the recruitment of 15 personnel to serve as county coordinators for the project. The project, launched by Vice President Joseph Boaka in January, will improve access to income generation opportunities for poor and vulnerable youth in Liberia and strengthen government capacity to implement its cash transfer program. The process for recruitment began Tuesday simultaneously in Vonjama, Lofa County, and Sanikwede in Nimba County. It will run up to the 23rd of July. 15 qualified individuals will be selected among 58 shortlisted persons. The county coordinators will represent the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment, LACE, in overseeing the implementation of the Rural Youth Agriculture Activities sub-component of the project, with 10,000 youth benefiting in various counties. The National Elections Commission says the turnout at the ongoing candidate nomination exercise at the Samuel Kayode Sports Complex is quite encouraging. The Commission is, however, cautioning everyone to work within the timeline, as the Commission will not extend the nomination date after it expires. NEC Communications Director Henry Flomo made the statement in an interview Wednesday with our reporter via mobile phone. Mr. Flomo said critical issues arising from the process and validated by the Commission are exceptional. He assured that the Commission was determined to make no major adjustment in the overall calendar of events up to Elections Day on October 10. The candidate nomination exercise allows representative and presidential aspirants registered with NEC to be certified for participation in the upcoming elections. Mr. Flobo reminded candidates that the process will end Monday, July 10 as scheduled. This newscast comes to you from the News and Public Affairs Department of the Liberia Broadcasting System, who broadcasts from Painesville, Alsat, Monrovia. A 3-day lecture series to inform a week-long study of the relationship between the executive and legislative branches of government is taking place in Monrovia. The study is being conducted by a 20-member Nigerian Institute for Security Services delegation. The lecture series opened today at the Foreign Ministry with Acting Foreign Minister Alias Suniye officially welcoming the Nigerian delegation to Liberia. Several senior government officials are expected to address a lecture series on specific issues on their respective sectors. LNP Inspector General Greg Rukoma will take on lead with a presentation, followed by President Pro Tempore Ahmad Jala and House Speaker Emmanuel Nukwe. The operations manager of the Fabra Liberia Incorporated in Magebe County has attributed the continuous importation of rice to the lack of adequate support to farmers across the country. The operations manager of Fabra Liberia Incorporated, Wikis Menti, said it is frustrating for government to continue paying huge money for the importation of rice when local farmers have the potential to produce sufficient for the Liberian market. Mr. Menti said there is a need for the Agriculture Ministry to design strategies that will boost agricultural activities in the country. The Fabra Liberia Incorporated is deeply involved in purchasing seed rice from farmers in Bong, Magebe, Grand-Bassa counties for processing and supply to agriculture-related institutions. The Friends of Representative aspirant Thomas Bell Tuesday donated a kino to ease the transportation problem in Pinkeses, Grand Cru communities in Grand Cru County. Our correspondent quoting the donor said the value of the kino is close to $12,000 Liberian and will carry 10 persons at a time. He said the donation followed an appeal from the citizens after the Una kino they had on the river was washed away. Our correspondent also said the kino will ease the difficulty people encounter in transporting patients at a time and will enhance farmers and other travelers' movement from one community to the other. The citizens expressed gratitude to the donation describing the move as timely. Thomas Bell is an aspirant for District 1 in Grand Cru County. And away from Liberia, researchers say gardening could be a powerful weapon against malaria, getting rid of mosquito populations by cutting off their food supply. A team tested their idea in 9 villages in the arid Bandiagara district of Mali, West Africa. Removing the flowers from a common shrub appeared to kill off lots of the other adult female biting insects that treatment or transmit malaria. Experts believe without enough fluid, the greeny mosquitoes starve. Western media quotes the researchers as saying getting rid of the mature females can stop the cycle of malaria transmission. And South Africa's elite Hawks police unit has been hit by a masonry brick in its headquarters in the capital, Pretoria. The unit's spokesperson, Angwanin, told the BBC thieves were made off with hard drives and other computer equipment early on Wednesday. But Mr. Madauzi said no Dockers files were stolen. Hawk sources believe the crime was an inside job rather than a burglary. He said the unit's human resources, finance and supply chain departments had been targeted. And now to end the news, a recap of the headlines. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has been appointed to the AU Council of the Wise at the Continental Body's 29th Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. 2 persons have reportedly died